We've all, I'm sure, been frustrated by trying to watch an animated clip, only to have it appear noticeably choppy during playback, simply because of the limitations of the computer that it's being played back on. A machine's processor speed, amount of RAM, or quality of video card can all be identified as possible bottlenecks, causing an occasional stutter or skipped frame during a movie's playback. Because being able to accurately evaluate an animated project's speed and timing is so important, once a movie has been rendered out, you want to make darn sure that when you are viewing its playback, that you're doing so in a way that ensures the most accurate representation of the actual timing of what you've keyframed into the file. In other words, you're looking for things playing back in as close to real-time speed as possible. In order to have that so important opportunity, Max provides a built-in utility known as the RAM Player. Here's how it works. You can access the RAM Player by going into the Rendering pull-down menu, then at the bottom, choosing RAM Player. The controls are located at the top of the dialog box that opens. On the left-hand side, you'll find entries for two channels, A and B. These fields give you the opportunity of either loading a single animation that can then be reviewed using the movie playback controls, the arrows that you see in the upper right-hand side of the settings, or by utilizing the B channel option, you can actually load two separate animated clips into the preview window, playing them side by side for the purpose of comparing one against the other. Let's first look at previewing a single clip. Up in the left-hand corner, let's click on the icon that looks like an open folder just to the right of Channel A. We'll now navigate to Chapter 15 in the Working Files folder. From there, we'll choose the movie named Logo Blue 250. In the configuration settings, you can leave the clip to load in its original size, or change that by either going larger or smaller. You can also determine the total number of frames to play back and the first frame within that sequence. We'll leave everything as is and simply click OK in the lower right-hand corner. All depending on the size of the clip, it may take a moment to load. The advantage being that you'll then be able to use the memory or RAM on your computer to control the accuracy of how things play back. Being able to then maintain real-time play speeds much easier than having to rely on the other hardware resources on your computer. Once everything's loaded up, you're then ready to get going using the playback controls on the top right. The movie can be played either forward or backward. You can also change the playback rate during play as to the number of frames per second. Opening up the field that reads 30 will change that to 15. You can now see how things are playing back at a slower speed. Let's change that to 60. And we'll take it back to playing back 30 frames per second. One of the handiest features of the RAM Player is the ability to scrub through the animation, being able to go back and forth. You can do that by simply holding down your right mouse button, then pushing your mouse side to side. When wanting to use the RAM Player to compare movies, maybe to check different speeds of movement or possibly for the colors used in a given clip, for that, you can make easy side-by-side comparisons. To do that, we'll leave the first clip loaded in Channel A and simply load a second clip into Channel B. Here's how you can do that. To the right of the listing for Channel B, let's click on the Open Folder icon. Staying in Chapter 15 of the Working Files, this time around we'll load Logo Blue 200. This second animation is identical to the first, with the exception being that the logo moves across the screen over 200 frames instead of 250 like it does in the first clip. So being able to see the two clips playing side by side, We can then make a comparison as to the movement of the logo as it scoots across the screen. One version moving faster or slower than the other. We'll accept the default settings and load the movie into its slot. Once the second movie has been loaded, take note of the handles at the top and bottom middle of the screen. These markers can be pulled to either the left or the right in order to play back one movie or the other. First, we'll play back the 250 frame movie in Channel A. Now for comparative purposes, we'll slide the handle over to the left, playing back the movie in Channel B. Seeing the differences in speed, we can now make a determination as to which one we like better. Let's say that we wanted to instead maybe compare the difference in color between two clips. That too can be easily done. Let's return to Channel B, loading a different movie. This time in the Chapter 15 folder of the exercise files, we'll choose the clip named Logo Green 250. When the RAM Player configuration dialog opens, we'll simply say OK. Once the movie's had a chance to load, we can then play things back for a color comparison. You can also change things so that you make not a side-by-side comparison, but instead one having the screen split up and down. Just to the right of the A and B buttons at the top, you'll see a smaller icon listing AB. Let's go ahead and activate that. With the screen now being able to be divided horizontally, let's play things through. So just that easy, we can make comparisons for both speed and color. So that'll get you going with using the RAM Player for making both previews and split-screen comparisons. It's a terrific little utility, so make sure to take advantage of it in your own work.